Hello, everybody. Welcome to an inspiring talk show. Let's talk Nigeria's next president, hosted by Ali Bob and Gilad Ushuaib. Ali Bob, how far?
Idea what's happening.
What's going on? It's been a really week.
Yeah, it's been a very interesting week in the polity, as we call it. A lot of things have been happening. Campaigns have officially opened, and in the opening of campaigns, we've seen a lot of things happen. I don't know if we should jumpstart the conversation, but
Yeah, because you can kickstart the conversation. Start the conversation.
Okay, yeah. So, campaigns have officially flagged off. That is to say that the race to the next Nigerian president has been officially been flagged off. Right now, we have 4 leading candidates, as we say. And since the flag off, we've seen a number of million matches. We've seen the obedience, as they call themselves, mobilize across the country to come out in mass to support their candidates. And I will say very honestly, when the obedience movement started, I had a feeling it was something that a lot of people will reckon with, but I did not know that it would be as big as it was. This me being very honest. I must say that the turnout I've seen in those matches have been very impressive. I've seen that even the PDP candidate as well, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, has made a few outings, the wedding in Gombe, his visit in Bauchi. So we've been seeing a lot of that. I've not seen
First
much
of all,
from
those organizing the mass march, do they have PVCs?
We'll get there.
And would the mass march convert into like election results?
Okay, so the truth is...
Because you see crowd of people hosting Gombe State. Hosting Atiku
Abubakar.
Crowd of people hosting Peter Obi.
It's
Crowd
not
of
the same
people.
people.
No, understand, like,
But let's be very honest.
A typical Nigerian now understands that. Just follow where the money is, where they are going to.
Yeah, but let's be very honest. We know that we know the parties that have been very familiar with mobilizing people and giving money to campaigns, giving money for mobilization for people to come out, and that's not something that has been attributed to the Labour Party and the obedience movement. So I can say that I can't say authoritatively because I don't know what is going on in their private meetings, but obviously that's a party. I know that they have this particular slogan. We know they give shishi. So it's a case of people are coming out because they love the candidates. That's the narrative on that side. And I also say the PDP. I know that even the APC women did something in Imo State as well.
Yeah, and there was a massive mass march of women in Lagos.
In Lagos as well, yes.
That's why you should.
But we saw videos after the Lagos march of market women asking for their payments. We don't know how true that is. It could be propaganda, it could not be. But our jobs are to spotlight the happenings as they happen. So as I was saying, we've seen a lot of mass marches as the opening of campaigns. I remember listening to Festus Keyamo saying that at the 2019 polls, APC started their campaign 50 to 60 days after the official flag off. This was in defense of the question, where is City Boy?
Before we even go to...
Okay, so should we talk about
the main topic of the conversation? It was when you said Labour Party and Peter Obi. I happened to be in a discourse over the week, and they're like, the Labour Party is championing not to hold to increase salaries of civil servants. The Labour Party is also championing that fuel subsidy should not be removed.
No, are you certain about that?
Yes.
Are you very certain? Did you hear it from the Labour Party?
Yes, Labour Party does not want the fuel subsidy out.
Okay.
Then now we're seeing Peter Obi coming to say that he's going to
do a single forex.
Yeah, do you understand?
Yeah.
So there's been discrepancies over the policy of Labour Party and the policy of Peter Obi. So what do you have to say about that?
It's
a very tricky issue.
It's a tricky issue. For his argument of floating the single forex market, I totally agree with it, because the so-called official rate and black market rate it doesn't make any sense. So that's something that I agree with. But even aside that, we're talking about the campaign starting and all of that. So for me, I think Labour Party have been able to put themselves together to come out to mobilize people. It's been beautiful. I know that the last time we saw a movement like this was the NSAS, and one of the biggest, should I say, the takeaways from the NSAS movement was the lack of leadership. So I also hope that the way the obedience movement is coming across, they get leadership in their own strategy and organization. Because if we can say this is, most of the people that are involved in the obedient movement are political novices. So there are a lot of things that can happen in the political game that can sweep them off their feet. So there's that. The PDP, the PDP as a party, I think PDP is the neutral party. We have the party on this side, we have the party on this side, and we have the PDP.
It's the balance.
The PDP is striking the balance.
It's not black or white, it's in between.
It's just in the middle. And there are a lot of conversations about people say, they'll just creep up like that and emerge. But I don't know how true that is. But the PDP has still not gotten their house in order. I know that within the week we saw party leaders from the Southwest and South returning party funds that were given to them from the nomination fees that was distributed by the party to state coordinators, zonal coordinators. We saw about 160 million return. I think that's a very impressive thing for me. This is one of the first times I've seen, not one of the first times, and we cannot say categorically that it was returned on principle. It might have been returned based on higher bidder. So, but we've seen that pushback. That's there. Then for APC, I was saying earlier that the APC campaign spokesperson, that's Festus Keyamo, was talking about how APC started their campaign 60 days late at the 2019 polls. So there's nothing abnormal about starting their campaign late. While that might be a strategy, I also think the conversations around where the presidential candidate was not, they were not far-fetched. This is somebody that puts himself out to be the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. There should be some form of transparency. We thank God he's back now. So I don't know if you have anything to say, because if we start this topic, we can go on and on.
Yeah, I think first thing first, I think the conversation of today is plainly about how the health of the president is going to affect governance. Like, what are we going to do moving forward? Because two of our presidents are within the ranges of 70 and above. Like, would they be able to function properly?
When INEC just to interrupt, when INEC published the list and I saw Atiku Abubakar was 75 years old, I was...
And Tinubu is 70.
I was...
yeah, like you...
I was like, 75.
So a lot of people come with the argument that, the president just has to be somebody who holds people accountable, somebody who knows how to unify everybody. It doesn't necessarily translate to the fact that he has to be strong. He's not going to be a cement carrier. But we don't want the president that is going to be out of the country so many times. We saw it with President Muhammadu Buhari when
So we are Adua.
So with President Buhari when he was out for
So my own issue with, I understand the argument of the president is an intellectual role and not a physical role. You need your mind. That's quite valid, but from experience, we've seen that in the Yar'Adua presidency, when Yar'Adua was not so strong, we saw that the government was run by a cabal. And when there's a cabal government, it's like a shadow government. There's nobody to hold accountable because everything is blamed on the cabal. So accountability is something that is going to be difficult because people don't even have access to the president. The president cannot see and talk to the people. So it's the few people that have access to the president that will come and tell you, this is what he said. And whatever they tell you, that's what you believe. And we saw the same thing happening with President Buhari in the early days of his regime when he was not fully on seats. So that's why when Nigerians talk about, is he sick, is he healthy, I think it's very valid and it's a very good question. You want to lead 200 million people. Are you healthy enough to lead 200 million people? Because to be the president of Nigeria, I think, was it Jonathan that was cracking a joke that when you come into one of the signs of staying in the villa is you must come out with white hair. I remember the vice president when he was coming as vice president, his hair was black. Now, so it's just to say there's a lot of it's a very big workload. It's a very heavy responsibility. So when we don't know, we're not even saying, you're sick. Tell us what. Let's know
yes.
Do you understand? The United States of America has had a president that was on wheelchair, and he led the people very well. So your physical, yes, might not 100% be the issue, but let it be transparent. I don't think it makes sense when, as a presidential candidate, even your campaign spokesperson can come on air and say, I don't know exactly where you are, I can't confirm. Do you understand? For me, those are red flags on transparency. I don't know what you think, but for me,
I think first thing first, I think the health of the president needs to become a priority when we're moving into governance. We need to really prioritize that, because if our president is not strong, then is most likely going to give chance to the shadow government and the cabals, as you rightly say it. Then these people are going to run the country without even the policies that the government, the president has put on his head that brought him. Do you understand? Because what's on the headspace of the president is totally different from people who are around him. People around him just want to accrue wealth and be rich. People want to take advantage of the leverage. But no president today, I'm sure there's no president Nigeria has had from the day it has started that want to see Nigeria in chaos.
Yeah, nobody wants to see, but your actions can prove that you want to see Nigeria in chaos. And let's say outrightly they don't want to.
Outrightly you don't want to, but do you understand when your actions are like this,
questionable?
It's questionable. Do you understand? Like, for instance, now when the headsman issue was a little bit, the conversation was not as thick as it was supposed to be. Like, a lot of people were expecting the government to have
take a
firm stand. So, like, that showed some type of, do you understand? So, a lot of people must have looked at in that angle. So, I think it's necessary for the president and anybody who's coming with the president as his vice, they must be sound. They must have sound health. Because Nigeria currently said we're even running in debt. We're seeing how we're having to manage our economy in desperate and tough times. And now we have
when you mentioned our economy, this is totally off our conversation, but I just want to bring your attention to the NNPC discovery of a 4-kilometer pipeline that was connected to Focados that was illegally moving oil for 9 years. Do you understand? For 9 years, imagine a 4-kilometer pipeline that's stealing Nigeria, the oil of the country for 9 years. If this is 4 kilometers, what is our navy doing? Do you understand? We have a full-fledged navy, and so there was a conversation by the Labour Party candidates where he said poor people cannot steal crude, and it's true. He said when you look at crude and oil bunkering, it's not a game for poor people. Me and you cannot afford.
Who are we going to sell it to?
You understand? I know that you can't, and I know that I can't.
The emphasis on I can.
I know that you can't. So
you know my capacity.
I know if it's that, we should forget about it.
Do you know my capacity?
I know that if it's that, I know can never. Oil bunkering is not his industry. Cannot. So, but back to the serious conversation. Like these are issues. Really, these are issues. Now, how will this thing be available? For 9 years, we've had the Nigerian Navy. What have people really? And my biggest issues are issues like this come up, and we just talk about it, and everybody goes.
Like pass.
Like who are you going to hold accountable?
Ahmed Lawan, the Senate president, even came out today to say after the president's speech as he presented the budget, like that he's going to like 1 million barrels of oil is stolen daily from Nigeria every day. Do you understand? And let's even say at the market, let's even say that it's only $7 per day. Do you understand? So like it's $7 million running every day through some private accounts that is not even loaned to the Nigerian government. So I think this is a very serious one that we need to spotlight.
So yes, and that's why the conversation of the presidency is really a holistic conversation, because there are plenty angles to it. Because it makes no sense to me that we're losing over $100 million on oil thefts. We know it. Everybody knows it. Do you understand? Like, we have new technology. You can fly a drone and look at the boundaries of who is loading this oil. Do you understand? This oil, they are loaded in vessels. Vessels are not it's not a needle. Vessels are big machineries. And to load a ship takes hours, if not days. Do you understand? So when we're actually looking for the next Nigerian president, we should really ask these people these questions, because we have got to the stage as a country that things happen, and I don't know whether we're afraid to hold anybody accountable, because I know before 2015 we used to hold our president accountable. Do you understand? If NEPA should take your light, PHCN, if your light should go, you are calling the president. Do you understand? But I think there's a new sense of excusing the responsibility of the president, or do you get what I mean? So moving on to the 2023 elections, I think these are conversations we should have. That I like these things that are happening. What is your plan to stop it? How should we hold you accountable? How should we? I saw something Atiku Abubakar did, that he did a social contract with Nigerians, all of that. For me, in principle, it makes sense. Yes, okay, this is my social contract. If this doesn't work, things like that should happen. I saw the peace treaty that was signed as well. So things like that. Yes, we have done it. How do we follow up?
Yeah.
So every presidential candidate has signed a peace treaty. When we find electoral violence, What is? Do you understand? Whose supporter is this? Where is it coming from? Just for me, I think 99% of Nigerians' problem across all board is accountability. Once we hold people accountable, things will work.
Yeah, and I think that's true. I think the moment we begin to hold people accountable, they'll be able to see road completion done or that type of infrastructure done. Because now, if you're saying accountable, some people might not be able to code it. But you see, accountability is not just about accounting. Accountability is if you give someone a contract or give him work to do, he does it optimally, not just doing it to finish and collect his money. But no, every system, everything in this country has some level of money budgeted for it. Electricity has received a whole lot of budget. Security has come under a whole lot of budget. Road, water, light, all these things have been budgeted for. Social investments to lift people out of poverty. A lot of billions of dollars have been accrued, have been saved for systems like for operations of things like this. But do you understand? Just because of how the government is, once you give people money and they just go and do la vida loca, spend it and jaye.
I just want to contribute something to you. Yeah. You said you were talking about accountability. I also want us to understand that accountability is not only money. It's not only money. You should be accountable for your words. Before you got into power, you told us $1 will be £1. Now you're in power. $1 is not £1. It's even worse than what you told us. How? Do you understand? Accountability is even, you're a billionaire, you claim to be rich. How did you make your money?
Have you paid your tax?
Are you paying your tax? Those are the small levels of accountability. Not even giving you money to implement. That's accountability too. But we have to become accountable like on the smaller issues before we even move to the bigger issues. When you are accountable for time, okay, a meeting starts by 8 o'clock. You are there by 8 o'clock. That's accountability. So I just wanted to throw some light on accountability. All right, so thank you for staying with us. As we wrap up the conversation, we just want to spotlight the issues that we've discussed today. We've spoken about accountability a lot. At every level, we need government, people in government, even normal citizens. Are you accountable as a citizen? Are you paying your taxes? Are you doing what you're supposed to do? Are you voting right? As a leader, are you saying what you promised to do? Are you doing what has been put in your hand to take care of? Have you taken care of it properly? Yeah, so also we spoke about the opening of campaigns. As campaigns have begun, where I'm using this opportunity to call on supporters and candidates, party members, let's be civil, because at the end of the day, elections come and go, Nigeria stays. So in our campaign, in our politicking, in our electioneering, whatever we're doing, let's just always remember to keep a certain level of civility, because you don't want to say something that will stir up an ethnic or a religious conflict, which will be terrible for all of us. So let's stay responsible and let's stay accountable. I don't know if you have anything to say.
So, and again, the last part of the conversation is that political parties and their political candidates must learn to harmonize their approach. And do you understand, for instance, the Labour Party, as I rightly said, and Peter Obi, do you understand the terms of
when party and the candidate having different views.
Yes, they have different views, and I think it's necessary for them to harmonize their approach, because the Labour has one of the biggest reach through the Labour Congress, the TUC, the unions, their own NME, do you understand? And all these people are all aggrieved people who have at some point have a problem with the sitting government, come out to protest, come out to go on industrial action. So it's necessary for us to prioritize for the Labour, for it to take advantage of the Labour union activities, to harmonize the approach, spread its tentacles, and it could ride on the structure into becoming the next president. So without any iota of extra words,
I think we can call it a wrap.
We'll call it a day. So join us next time on your inspiring talk show, Let's Talk Nigeria's Next President, hosted by myself and Niger Delta Prince Ali Bob.
Shake you now.
This cap. But this cap, who has this cap? Are you from Niger Delta?
He also hang my hand.